Hello everybody. To make my bird nest out of burlap, I laid 3 pieces of burlap. They were squares, and this is the offcut, and I stacked 3 on top of each other, put a crisscross to hold the squares in place. Then I sewed around 3 or 4 times with a tightened tension until I had it to where I could work with it by itself, and then I cut the edges off, and I'm going to keep that because that's nice to layer inside and make it look like it's got twigs and so forth inside there. So I'll just show you how I do this. You need a tighter tension and you need a long stitch, and I start about a press a foot away, and I hold the thread where it comes off the spool, and that way it tightens the tension more. It was a trick shown to me years ago. So I'm going round and round and round. Now I'm going about 1 inch, and I was about a press a foot in before. Now I'm going in closer to the center. Now I know this is boring, so I'm going to stop it so I can show you now. Okay. Okay, so it's starting to take shape. Next, of course, I'm going to do more stitching around this, which I won't do on camera because it's kind of annoying, I know, to just hear someone sewing round and round. But after that I pull off these pieces, pull them off, lots and lots of those, and I lay them across here to make it sort of fills it in, but also it makes like twigs and debris that the bird may have put in the nest, and when it's finished it really looks nice in there. So this is what I'm doing now. I'm just going to do some of it. So that's why I keep the burlap pieces, are really handy for this. You could use twine or you could use some other material. I showed the one that I made from what I call blotting paper, the paper. That was a bit different. You could use all kinds of things. Scrunch up fibers and put in the middle. So, and if you do that felting, you could use felting for this too. I'm not into the felting much myself, but you could do that. Okay, so that's probably enough to show you to start with. So I'll just show you how I would take that and sort of work with that a little bit. So I'm going to start in the middle on that because it needs to be held down. And I've grabbed the tension at the top tighter, and I've also got a foot on here that's for, I think it's for applique maybe, probably an applique foot, so the threads don't get caught in there as much as they would. So I'm just talking to fill in time. You may be able to hear the birds. It's enough noise, isn't it? Oh. Okay, so I'm at this point. Now what I do now is, well, I keep going around and around and around, and I may have to, you know, sort of shape it more to a complete circle. But when I get to where I feel like I can sort of play with it and maybe even bend it more into a nest shape, I'll do some more sewing on it, but I'll show you what I do before I do that. I take some spray starch, and I'm not going to use the hairdryer, but I do use the hairdryer. So what I do next is I take that pretty good till it's sort of damp, and then I even put a little bit on the back. And then I start playing with it. And then when I get it to where I think it's starting to look more like a nest, I will use the hairdryer. And I use the hairdryer on both sides, and then once I've got it, you know, it's still not a nest, but getting there, I take it back to the sewing machine and I go around a few more times. So I'm not going to do that but I can show you this is how I keep working it. So in other words, I'll do a few more rounds with the sewing machine, tighten, tension, long stitch, and then I'll add some more of these frayed pieces, and then I just keep going around and around until I get what I think is kind of looking like, you know, like a nest shape. And I like to make it in my hands. I like to play with it. I like it, you know, it's like modeling clay, you might say, or something. So I like to play with it a lot more. So that's the beginning of it, and I hope that gives you an idea of how I worked, and you'll see the other samples on my site anyway. So thank you for watching. I hope you'll give it a try. I made quite a few of these. They've all gone to friends, but anyway, I'm going to do some more. I like playing with them. As long as the burlap holds out after I used up all the burlap, well then that'll be that. Thanks for watching, and stay well. Bye-bye.